Welcome back to Astro Auto Styling. I'm Lucas, and in today's video, I'm going to show you everything you need to have and everything you need to do if you want to wrap your own car at home. So, you've been to a bunch of different shops, talked to a bunch of different people, and maybe you had some concerns that they weren't going to do a good job or it was going to cost too much or whatever it is. You decided, you know what? I'm going to wrap my own car. I can do this. And I encourage that. That is exactly what I did when I started. Now, if you're going to do that, if you're going to go down that route of wrapping your own car at home, there are some non-negotiables here. You need to have these things to make sure you're happy with that final result. The first thing you need is time, and a lot of time, much more time than you think. If you've gone to different shops, you've talked to different people that probably told you we can disassemble your car, fully wrap it, and get it back to you in 3 to 4 days, which is pretty standard. If you're online and watching videos, you'll see really experienced professionals doing panels, doors, and whatnot in 10 minutes, sometimes even less. So how long could this job possibly take if you can do a door in 10 minutes? I had that same misconception when I started. I saw CK Wraps do a door, and I think it was like 15 minutes. And I thought, you know what? Let me triple that time. So he takes 15 minutes. It'll take me 45 minutes. How long could it take? Doesn't look that hard. And when I tried to wrap my first door, it took me 3.5 hours. If you're planning to park your car on a Friday night after work, Saturday and Sunday you'll work on it, and then Monday you'll be driving your wrapped car back to work, I just don't think that's going to happen. You're going to need a lot of help. So I would set aside at least a week. So if you can park your car for a week, then you'll probably be able to get it done. But if it's your first time, just working with the vinyl and understanding how to manipulate it, how to squeegee it, it takes much longer than you think. Your next non-negotiable is you need a heated or temperature-controlled garage. Now, 99% of the cases, it just needs to be heated because there's few places where it becomes so hot that you can't wrap a car in, like you need AC. But if it's cold and you don't have a heater, it won't work. You cannot wrap a car if it's cold. I'll show you what I mean. So I have two pieces of vinyl, and they are the exact same 3M 1080. Now, the reason I'm using 3M is because it's notorious for not being good in the cold. Watch what happens if you peel this, take your backing paper off, you're wrapping your car, you're stretching this, and if you go to pick this up, watch how easy 3M is to rip when it's not warm. Like that. Like it's like paper. Right? And that's just because it's cold. But not even that cold. It's 15 degrees. Like it's not freezing. Look at that. If we get that same vinyl, and I'll peel it off here. And now I have my heat gun, and I'm going to heat it up just a little bit. You can see that it looks much more pliable. It's stretchy. And now if I go to rip it, look, much more difficult to rip. I've got to pull it, right? Let's try heating this up. Okay, same thing. And remember how easy the other one was to rip. Now if I try and rip this, you can still do it, but I'm really trying. Try and rip it. That's much more difficult, but you can still do it, right? Any vinyl you can rip, but that takes much more force. So you need time, you need a heated garage, and now we're going to talk about the flooring. My floor in here is not epoxied and it's not sealed, which is probably pretty similar to your garage floor at home. Now, the reason why this is a problem is because even if it looks clean, if we get close and I just wipe my hand on it, look, dust and dirt. Just do a bit more. You can see all these little dots, little piece of dust on my hand. Now, it may look insignificant, but trust me, even having like a little speck of dust, a little piece of sand or something get under that wrap, you're going to see it and it's going to bother you. You're going to have a tiny little imperfection. So how do you deal with that? I found the best way is to sweep and not use a broom like those regular brooms where you push all the dust back into the air. You don't want to do that. If you can get those brooms that you use to sweep up like basketball courts and volleyball courts, it kind of traps all the dust. Those are really good. And also misting the floor. You don't have to soak it, but just get a light spray on it, especially if you're doing the bumpers because the vinyl is so close to the ground, it can pick up all that dust. If you lightly spray the floor, it controls 99% of the dust, and you'll be more than happy with the result. The next important thing and non-negotiable is lighting. You need to have good lighting. You need to have proper lighting. This is why. Areas like this on a bumper, okay, areas in here, and underneath, all of these areas where the light isn't directly hitting, it becomes very frustrating to wrap. Now, forget all this dirt, but even under here, trying to go around all these fenders, If you don't have proper lighting, you're not going to be able to see what you're doing. This is especially true if you're working with darker vinyls. Gloss black vinyl is the worst for this. If you don't have light directly on it, all the ambient light and the reflections from different light sources really plays tricks on your eyes, and it's hard to see what you're doing. So the way to solve this, or the way to combat this, is get a simple headlamp like this. I think this was 20 or 30 bucks from Canadian Tire, and it saved me. When I was working out of my garage, this was a lifesaver. I didn't have to install any expensive lights or anything like that. I just wore my headlamp and I was good to go. And I could even work when it was darker and there was no issues. We're finally done with the workspace, with your environment, your workshop, whatever you want to call it. Those are the non-negotiables. Those are the things that you need. Now, moving on to tools, this is much simpler. If you're just wrapping your car at home, you're not really planning to do this professionally, it's just kind of a hobby thing, you do not need to spend ridiculous amounts of money on all these professional tools. Just go to Amazon, buy whatever vinyl wrap tool kit they have. Everything you need is there. Maybe the one thing that won't come in that kit is a heat gun. You're gonna need a heat gun, but you get a couple knives, some tuck tools, some magnets. What else do you need? If you wanna buy knifeless tape and go down that route, you can, but again, that's starting to get into more of that professional thing. But if you're just doing this as a hobby, don't waste your money on very specific tools. The Amazon stuff is more than acceptable. You have your environment all set up, you got your tools all set up, ordered everything. Now, how much vinyl do you need? Are you going to order the correct amount of vinyl? Because you don't want to waste money. So how do you know? Looking here, you'll see that all of my vinyl is the exact same height. All of these rolls are 60 inches tall, which is 5 feet. That's like a standard size for a roll. Now, you need to be careful when ordering online because there are some rolls that are only like 48 inches or 52. Usually chrome and special finishes have that. But just be careful. Make sure that when you're looking at a roll, it's 60 inches tall. You really want to have that height. The other thing you need to be careful of when ordering vinyl is making sure the length of the roll is specified and you know what you're getting. Because some companies, if you ask for a full roll or you order one full roll, that can be 25 yards, which is 75 feet. Other companies, you order one full roll and it's 60 feet. Now, that's a big difference when it comes to wrapping a whole vehicle. If you're doing a regular coupe or a sedan, 60 feet will be fine. You can do the whole car. If you're doing an SUV or even like a pickup truck, that's not going to be enough. So you might need more than a roll, or you can order from a company who offers that 75 feet, that longer length in one roll. So we have our shop set up. We have the proper tools. We have our vinyl ordered. Now you're actually going to start wrapping your car. What do you need to do and what do you not need to do? What's extra? Disassembly is critical for any vinyl wrap. Now, if you're doing this at home, what I would recommend is mirrors. You need to take these off so you can wrap under here properly. But trim like this and trim up here, I would not remove. Firstly, because it's very difficult to take off and it almost always breaks. But also, you can just tuck under this type of trim. Up here, you can just cut the vinyl, right here and tuck under there. Same on this side. The mirror, yes, you can tuck under here, but the problem is the mirror gets in the way of wrapping the door because if I'm pulling the vinyl here, this is sticking out and it just becomes a headache trying to work around it. If I was doing this at home, I would not mess with the bumpers because the plastic tabs always break and there's plenty of space to tuck around the edges of a bumper, so I wouldn't worry about that. Headlights and taillights, that's up to you how difficult they are to take out. If a headlight, the bumper needs to come off to take out that headlight, obviously you're not going to do that, but most taillights pop out pretty easily, so that's probably something you can remove. And then door handles, I would also take out the door handles because working around that is just like working around the mirror. It just becomes a real headache. Now, the very last thing, if you're going to wrap your car at home, you need to have this. This saved my life. I'm so happy I found this. I think it was on Instagram. I saw a reel. It is the bumper wrapping pole. This magical little thing right here. Now I put a piece of vinyl on it just to help with my grip, but it's just a metal pole that I've cut. But you can use a broom handle or anything like that. This just helps you wrap a bumper by yourself because I'm assuming if you're doing or wrapping your car at home, you're going to be wrapping it by yourself. By using this pole, you can tack the vinyl to the top and bottom of the pole, and it helps the vinyl maintain that length without bunching up on itself when you're trying to wrap around a bumper. It is a lifesaver. If you're wrapping your own car by yourself, please use something like this. Get a broom handle or something to help you with your bumper, and you will save hours and a lot of headache messing around with it. That's it. That's everything you need to wrap your own car at home in your garage or your workspace or wherever you are. Good luck, everyone. Thanks for watching, and let me know how it goes.